Hi, I'm Omfg Really Nikki, or you can just call me Nikki. This video is about something that happened to me and my brand, Omfg Cosmetics, and I really wasn't sure how to deal with it or what to do about it, and I kind of was going through some other things that didn't help the situation, I guess. But I feel like there was kind of some injustice, and the only way for me to get over it and to just move past it is to at least tell my story. And I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only brand owner that has been through this with this particular company. So, OMFG Cosmetics, I started planning it back in 2016, and we actually started officially selling products on August 15th of 2017. On November 1st, I was sent an email through my actual website at omfgcosmetics.com. I have a form on there that you can fill out, and it'll send me an email of whatever message you send. So I was contacted by Rue 21, their beauty department, I guess. And sorry, I'm a little bit sick. I'm just getting over a cold, so excuse me. But somebody from their company sent me a message on my site saying that they really want to work with me, that they really love my brand, and they were interested in how maybe we could partner up and they could sell my products at their store. So I contacted them, and initially I was super excited because it's kind of a big deal. I don't really deal with Rue 21 a lot. We have them around, but they're not super close to me. So I had never really purchased from them. It was just kind of something I'd heard of. But still, they were a bigger brand, and I was pretty excited. And right then, I had just found out maybe a week, 2 weeks before that I was pregnant, and then a few days after that I had a miscarriage. So I think I was a little bit more sensitive and more vulnerable in a sense, which they in no way knew that, but I'm just telling that because I feel along the way that maybe I should have made a little bit smarter choices too. I'm not making this video to put full blame on Rue 21, although I do feel that they took advantage of the situation. I feel like they took advantage of me. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm without blame or that, I shouldn't have done certain things or any of that, because there's things that in retrospect, there's definitely some things that I wish I would have kind of been wait, this is definitely a red flag. There's some, I don't know, just different things that we'll get, as I get into this, I will go over. But so they set up a phone call, and sorry, I have a toddler in the other room, and no matter how much I tell him to be quiet, anyone that has toddlers know that they don't listen at all. So if you hear weird noises, that's probably him. And I can't really get rid of him, so we just go on. So God, I already lost my train of thought. Liam, seriously, stop. Okay, so a week later, they set up a phone call, and they we talked about, they were how much they love my brand and blah blah blah. But then they kind of the way they made it seem was they were, because I'm a small brand, they were really reaching out to me and doing me a favor. They really wanted to help me out. It was not that they didn't like my stuff, but essentially working with me would be only to my benefit. Almost which that alone should have been kind of a red flag. It was very manipulative in a sense, that they were kind of oh, you really shouldn't not work with us, because if you don't, you're gonna be missing out. I don't know, it was very shady. But again, at the time, I was going through a miscarriage, and I don't know, I was well, maybe this is what the universe is directing me to, or whatever, that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and that just wasn't for right now. So I was trying to kind of focus on my business, and it was still very, very new. So I was super excited that a bigger brand was even interested in my cosmetics. One thing that I noticed was that, because we would have weekly phone calls all through November, and everything was totally fine in November. In the very first phone call, they mentioned, because I really didn't know what to ask or how to go about any of this, because I my brand was still very new. I mean, still, like, it's still very new to me. It's less than a year old. So I didn't really know, you know, what I should ask or what things to request. I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, whatever. But they initially, in the very first phone call even, were like, we know you're an indie brand, and we don't pay for products until 30 days. We like invoice, but because you're a small brand, we've already cleared it. We can pay half up front. And so I was like excited about that, because I was like, okay, well, yeah, I definitely would need that because I don't have the capital to do like a really large order. So I was excited about that. And then, sorry, I have notes, and like, I don't know, maybe I should write more clear. Oh, okay. In that same phone call, that they were really, really like obsessed with Riley Rose, because Riley Rose had just launched, and they were like, Riley Rose is doing this, Riley Rose this, Riley Rose, just like everything Riley Rose. And they were saying that they wanted to expand because I think they have, like, they said 760 retail locations in the United States, and they were looking to add to about 30 of them a extended makeup selection, and that's what they were wanting to sell my products in those 30 stores as well as online. And I'm sure I'm not the only brand that they contacted. I mean, if they're expanding their makeup collection, it's going to be multiple brands. So they were super obsessed with Riley Rose, and it seemed like Forever 21 too, like just things that they were doing, things that they're about, which that sort of bothered me. But I just kind of was like, well, you know, whatever, it's not a big deal, which, you know, under the circumstances, it probably should have been. But again, I was not aware. I don't know. I just didn't know what to do or like how to react or what to think, so I just kind of like let it go. But in retrospect, I don't really think they have any original thought. Like, out of all the phone calls that I had with them, they really never, they were always like, oh, what do you think? What do you want? They were always almost like trying to pick my brain, like what I thought, what I wanted, what I thought was cute, or what my idea was. Again, that should have been a major red flag, but I don't know. I think the thing is, like, I'm a positive person, and I tend to think positively. Like, I don't like to see the negative in people, and like, I guess maybe in some ways, maybe that makes me a little naive. But I would never screw somebody over. Like, I just am not that type of person. So I just didn't think about it that way, I guess. Towards the end of November, hold on. Liam, you need to be quiet. Over, like, every time I yell at him, like, I lose my train of thought. But, like, I can't focus if he's in the background, like, making weird noises. So, sorry. You guys may not even be able to hear him, but I can hear him, and it, like, throws me off. Like, the end of November, we were on a phone call, and they were telling me, okay, we need you to basically charge almost half for the same product. And they really wanted me to get professional packaging, which I told them I could do, which the slashing prices honestly was incredibly stupid. For anyone that has an indie brand, whatever your prices are, if your prices are fair and they're set to make you money, I mean, obviously it's not about like price gouging, because I think some companies charge outrageous amounts for something that's very cheap, and that's not fair. But I feel like you need to price your products fairly, so that, you know, I don't know if most people know how wholesale pricing works, but typically the formula is what you take whatever it costs you. So let's say you have something that costs you $5, and then in order to get your wholesale pricing, you times it by 2. So your wholesale price would be $10, and then for your retail pricing, you would times that by 2, so it would make your product $20. So that if you're selling it to somebody else and they're going to resell it, you're only selling it for half, which is you're basically making your money back plus an extra whatever that cost. And then after that, for your retail or for their retail, they have a decent markup that they can actually profit off of. And then that allows you to do sales, and that allows you to actually make money off of your product. I don't know that everyone follows that formula, but it's kind of like a guideline, and that's approximately what most people gauge it at. So they wanted me to already cut my products by half, and then they wanted to pay half of that as the wholesale. Which I was like, look, I can do that for a small order, but because I don't buy things in huge amounts, it's going to be harder for me. So I'm not going to make a whole lot of money off of this. And they're like, oh, well, we want you to make money, but, we have to keep our prices low. We're known for, like, affordable products, blah, blah, blah. Which, honestly, I don't know that that's necessarily true. But if they're so obsessed with Riley Rose has plenty of companies that charge decent amounts for their product, and they seem to do okay. So, but again, I wasn't really thinking that, or I wasn't sitting where I'm sitting now in the situation. So, they also were really, like, they really wanted me to get packaging, which I understand because my packaging originally was very, like, indie. I'll show you one of my products. Like, this was my original packaging because, I was just a really small indie brand. We didn't have, like, anything fancy. These were just simple compacts. They didn't have a box or anything like that. So, I could understand that, and I told them that, it would be very important for me to make sure that they were going to be able to pay me by a certain time to meet their deadlines, and also to pay the rest of the money, because I actually had to borrow some money to actually have packaging made, which I did have packaging made. Sitting here, I realize I don't have the palette, but I do have this. It helps if I take the pan out, actually, because you can't really see, but I upgraded from this to this one. So this one looks a lot more professional. I changed the logo a little bit. Like, I don't know. I felt like this one was, like, cute. It kind of reminded me of like a Polly Pocket vibe, and the color, I don't know. I just thought this one was really cute, and so I custom designed this particular package. But to do that, you have to buy between 10 and 12,000, which that order was actually 10,000. To have your logo on stuff like that, or even for any packaging, just about anywhere, the minimum is like 10,000. I don't think any do less than that. So I told them that, this is a pretty big investment, and that I know you guys are only ordering like, a little over 1,000 products total. So I have to invest in 10,000 of these things that, they actually haven't arrived yet still. They're on their way. They'll be here in about 2 weeks. I'm still a little scared because 10,000 of anything seems like so many. So I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to put them all, but that's a whole other issue. But so they also really wanted their logo on everything. And that I was like, unless you guys are going to commit to 10,000 pieces and actually pay me before I even order the original packaging, there's no way. That's not going to happen. And they're like, okay, never mind. But that, I can't, if I would have done that, I would have been so screwed. So I'm glad I was at least smart enough to be like, no, that's not going to happen. Let's see. The other packaging I got was a palette. It's really irritating me that I sit down and then I didn't even bring one over here. Like, I could have sworn I had one here, but apparently I don't. But it has the same logo. It's just a little black palette that's about this big, and it has the logo on it. And then I got boxes and all that for it so that it looked retail ready. But then after November, like getting into December, suddenly they started to get kind of flaky, and they kept saying, oh, we're going to call you on Monday, or we're going to call you on Friday. Honestly, it was pretty much both. They would tell me on a Friday, they were going to call me on Monday, and then on Monday, oh, we'll call you Wednesday, or we'll call you Friday, and then it would never happen. It would just, like, they would kind of keep postponing it, and I'm like, look, guys, like, you guys want, because the original order came out to about, like, $12,000 worth of products, and that's at the discounted price. That was at, like, almost half price. So they kept, like, telling me, oh, you know what, we're working on your check, and then nothing was ever happening. And at that time, right at the end of November, I had sent them samples. I had sent them, actually, this one is like a messed up version of it. Liam, you gotta be quiet, dude. I need to finish this. Shh. But this one's like, I kept this one. It's like kind of screwed up. Like it's not as cute, but it's like a little bubble gum. And it's hard to tell the color, but it's actually like a really like pretty baby pink. And then it's got the blue. The pink just doesn't quite pick up on the camera. And then there was also some other samples, which were like these colors. And then there was another color. It was kind of like an orangey color, but I don't have the sample anymore. I do, but it's not physically here at the moment. But the reason why I have these specific colors is I'm going to show you later something that I feel is a little too familiar. They had a lot of like, they kept telling me like deadlines too that were completely unrealistic. Like I tell them that production for compacts is like, it takes them, they usually will tell you between 15 and 30 days. And my particular manufacturer had said it would be about 30 days. And that's just for production. And he said, depending on how I wanted it shipped, which if I would have had it shipped by air, it would have costed me about the same amount. Like I would have been paying about 10 grand total, which would have been insane. So I opted for sea shipping, so that's 25 to 30 days. And then I think I have to go pick it up at a port, which they'll tell me once I need to do that. But that's like 2 months just waiting for compacts. And actually it took longer because once like we got to January, because let me make sure I'm not missing something first of all. Because yeah, okay, they would set appointments and they would never follow. God damn it. Sorry. They would set appointments with me, they wouldn't follow through. And then like after, it seems like after they got my samples is when shit got sketchy. Like they got really flaky, thinking back on it anyways. And then from like the middle of December, they kept promising that they were going to pay me, and then it was never happening. Then the beginning of January, they were like, oh, we're only doing 15 stores now. Oh wait, no, we're only doing 10. Okay, we're back up to 15. And they kept changing it, and then they were like, we want you to send it, we're going to do 15 stores for sure. And then they were telling me that they wanted me to send them, because there was 10 products total, where there was like 2 palettes, 4 liquid highlighters and 4 pressed highlighters. So it was 10 items total for each store, which they said they wanted free samples for each store, like so you can try it. So that's 150 products for free when I was already slashed my prices by almost half. And then they wanted me to pay for all the shipping too. So I was like, wait a second, like you guys never said any of this before. I can't do that. I was like, well, they're like, we can't pay full price for it, the samples. Like, you have to sell it to us at your cost then. So I was like, okay, I guess I can do that. But I was like, what about shipping? Like, that's insane. Like, I've already cut my prices, and you want me to pay shipping for a relatively large order. Like, it'd probably be like $100 or more just to ship it. So at that point, I would be losing money, like, completely. Like, I wouldn't even be profiting anything. Because my profit margin, I think I calculated it, and it was right around $80 total, like for a huge order like that, which I think now is actually insane. I just was kind of too caught up in it, and I felt like, okay, well, I said I would work with them. I feel like obligated to do it. And then we get towards the end of January, like probably like a week and a half before the end of January, and I get a message, oh, hey, sorry, we couldn't get approval for your payment, so we're going to have to do something else. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, we'll call you next Monday, because it was like a Friday when I got that email. And then after that, like, they just never messaged me. Like, I kept like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? And then nothing. So finally I realized, I was like, dude, I got to do something, because I was like, I have to pay for these compacts. I've only paid the deposit. I paid half up front, and I still got to pay the other half, and I didn't have a couple grand just laying around. So I got a shitty job working for a boss I used to work for a long time ago, cleaning offices at night. Not because I couldn't do anything else, but because my boyfriend already works during the day and I have kids, so I can't work during the day and then I have no one to watch the kids. There's just nobody like so I had to get a job working nights so that way he's here and he can watch them while I go work. So I only just paid them off about 2 weeks ago. So it's taken a little bit of time. Which is why it's been so long, because I paid for them like mid-December, like the deposit, and now I probably won't get them till mid-April. So it kind of sucked because I was freaking out. I was like, dude, I'm not gonna let these people screw me out of these compacts, because these compacts I had already like designed and like dreamed up like months before I even started with the other compacts. I was like, someday I'm gonna get these, like once we make enough money. But so they kind of pushed me into a situation where I bought packaging that I really wasn't ready for. I mean, my brand is still very small, and I don't know that we're really officially ready for our own fancy packaging, but it's coming. And I was like, no way I'm gonna lose like $2,500, or actually I think it's like $2,800 was like half. But it was like pretty close to like about $3,000. I don't remember exactly because there's like other fees and stuff, like, but it was somewhere between like 25 and like $3,000 I initially paid, and then I had to pay that again for the other half. So I was like, there's no way I'm gonna lose that much money because of this. Like, that sucks that they're not gonna pay me, but I'm gonna suck it up and get a job and do it myself. And luckily I was able to do that. But the whole thing was just really, I felt like it was really deceptive. It was really, I don't know, really shady. And honestly, I don't know that they ever really, I think they did want to sell my products in their store, but I think they really wanted me to, because they were really pushy about their logos on everything, and I kept shooting it down, because that's the one thing I was like, I'm not going to spend all this money and buy 10,000 compacts only to have you guys buy like 1,000. No freaking way. And for like less than what I'm even normally selling my products for. That's just not going to happen. After that, I feel like they were like, well, whatever, we're not going to work with you then. Because I think at that point I was then I'm obligated to basically sell them all 10,000 at basically whatever they want to pay, because I'm just stuck with them otherwise, because I can't just use their logo, you know. So then instead they went a different route, and right after they stopped talking to me, and then like literally the next week, hold on, this palette right here came out, and somebody messaged me, because one of my friends, she was just like, dude, doesn't that look a lot like your colors that you sent in the samples? And I was like, what are you talking about? And I opened the link. I was like, holy shit. This is their colors that they put in the palette. I haven't even taken the plastic wrap off. I just took it because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to sue these people. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. Like, I'm just pissed off. So I bought it. Unfortunately, the color isn't coming through perfectly, but like, hold on. I got to do this the right way. Like, the colors are not identical, but the colors that I sent them and the colors that they put in here are just really, really similar. Like, here's the pink and the blue. I mean, they're not identical. Again, they're not, but they are very similar. And then you add, I wish I had them all in one like thing so you could freaking see like all together, but like these two colors, I mean, their purple is much darker, but like the whiter color is pretty similar. I can't even like, so I don't know. Let me see if I can get like kind of all of them, but it just seems like eerily like familiar. It's not an identical match, and I don't know that they took inspiration from me or not, but it just kind of felt like, whoa, like then suddenly they're not talking to me at all anymore. And from that time on, they have not responded to anything or said anything to me. But this just seemed really, I don't know. I personally feel like they definitely used my samples as inspiration to create this palette. I can't say for sure. I don't know. But it's very easy to send some colors to a lab, because this is made in China. All of their products, it says it's, let's see, where does it say? I know it says it's, yeah, right here, made in China. So I feel like it's just a cheaply thrown together palette that they couldn't get me to do what they wanted me to do, so they just took my colors, is what I feel like, but I can't say that for sure because truthfully I don't know. So that's my entire story about all of this. I'm probably leaving some things out, I don't know. But that's the gist of it. I also have noticed that their lip kits look a lot like Tattoo Junkies. And some of their other products look very similar to other brands. So I don't know that they... I don't feel like they have any originality whatsoever, to be honest. Like, I think people there don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they just are doing whatever they can to keep their jobs because they basically have no creativity among them, it seems like. I personally am pissed just because I feel like, you know, they really kind of led me to get all these things, and now, I mean, my brand will be better because now I have custom packaging, and it's the packaging that I did want and whatever, but I could have waited and got that as I, you know, my company grew and made money and so on. And so I don't know, like, it's just, there's nothing that I can really do about it. I'm not really sure how to handle it, but this is kind of my way of, you know what, if you're an indie brand and you are approached by Rue 21, I would be very, very careful. And I don't know, like, because as an indie brand owner, I know exactly how hard people who have an indie brand work. My God. Right as I'm finishing, he has to get louder. But anyways, like, we work really freaking hard, and the thing is, most of us are spending our time and our money, you know, that's coming away from our families, and we're trying to make something better for ourselves and our family and do something that we actually are passionate about. And so it's really shitty for a larger company to come in and possibly take your designs and manipulate you into situations that you're not comfortable with or ready for. And the other thing is, if any company approaches you and you are selling your products and you feel like your product prices are fair, do not change them. If they won't accept them at any other price, be like, fuck you. Like, I know my worth, and I'm not going to lower my prices because I need to make money off of this, and if it's important enough for you to work with me, that you will accept my pricing. I mean, obviously, you know, wholesale pricing is whatever, but they were wanting to sell my product for basically what the wholesale price would be. So by the time I sold it to them, I made very, very little. It was like 20 cents per piece or something, like really small. Like, it wasn't much. And that was a stupid ass idea. Like, honestly, on my part, like, that was just dumb. And I don't know. I think it was a combination of things, like why I allowed that, and I think, you know, because it was like a really big company, and you're like, oh, hey, wow, I'm just a little indie brand, let me check this out. And they just, I feel like they took advantage, definitely. So for anybody who is out there that has an indie brand, if you get approached by them, I would definitely proceed with caution, and get everything in writing. That's the other thing, is I didn't have an actual contract, which was really dumb, but, you know, live and learn. But get everything in writing and don't commit to shit without that. And if they can't, the other thing is, I've never heard of somebody that you work with initially, especially when they approach you, that you don't get paid up front. Anytime, like, I work with anyone, typically the first order you pay in full up front. I've had a few where you can pay half, but most of the time they want it in full and up front. Now, for later times, sometimes they'll do, like, where you only pay half up front, or you pay, you know, just a deposit, and then you pay the rest when you get it. But I've never heard of you just sending shit out for free and then expecting them to pay you 30 days later. Like, honestly, I doubt that they would have even fucking paid it. Like, I would have been, like, I don't know, I probably would have lost my shit at that point. Like, I just would have, like, although, truthfully, I told them that I wouldn't send it, but if I would have sent it, God, dude, I don't know. As if this isn't, like, crappy enough. Like, that's just adding insult to injury. But luckily I was smart enough not to do that or to put their logo on anything. But that's the other thing. If any company is pushing you to put their logo on stuff, they have to pay in full for however many you are required to buy every time, always, because like that would have been like the biggest just fuck. So anyways, now it's concluded and it's over. It's done with. I will never work with them. That's just that. I have no desire to work with them. I've purchased a couple of their cosmetics just to kind of try in the process, and it's honestly garbage. It's just cheap ass. Like, their packaging is cute, but the cosmetics themselves, they're just not good. And I noticed that they've got talc, which I don't use. They also have beeswax, which I don't use because my brand is vegan, and they have red 40. I also don't use that because I personally am allergic to it, and it's honestly just a bad ingredient to use. It's cheap, and that's why people use it, and their food and colorings and whatever, but it's shit. And not to say that just because a product is made in China means it's going to be shit. Not at all. There's plenty of products that are made in China because it's cheaper to make it there. That's just reality. But you can just tell that these are really chalky. God, I don't know how to use my camera, sorry. But these, you can't really see too well, and I don't think it's going to focus too well, but these are really, like, they look chalky. They don't look good at all. And for my products, I can guarantee that when you buy them, they are quality products that we personally, like, I make everything, or at least oversee it myself, and I know that every single ingredient that we buy, everything that we put into it is a good product that's not going to hurt you. It's not going to, like, there's no red 40, so if you have skin allergies, it's not going to affect that. We don't use any animal products, so there's no beeswax, nothing. It's vegan, 100%. We don't test on animals. There's none of that. It's 100% cruelty free. And I don't know that whether there's, let me see if it even says that, which that kind of irritates me too, that it's like, if you're gonna steal my shit, like, well, again, if they did, allegedly, we'll say that, but it says it's not tested on animals, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's cruelty free. Well, it's not cruelty free, I get. Well, I don't know. I've heard if you use beeswax that it still fucks up the bees. I don't use beeswax, so I don't really know. But I've heard it's not good. Respect the bees. But that's my video. Sorry if I sound like a raving lunatic. I like kind of rambled on and yelled at my child a few times. But I'm just making this video and I'm not going to fucking edit it. It is what it is because I want to be 100% real. And I'm just a regular person who started a makeup company because it's something that I'm passionate about and something that I love. And I just wanted to have my own business so that hopefully I can do something for my family. And it really upset me that, like, I kind of had this setback because I had to spend all this money buying things that I wasn't really ready for, and I couldn't really expand my brand the way that I had planned to. But we are where we are, and we're moving forward. So I appreciate you watching, and I will be doing more videos, but I'm gonna have better lighting. Like, this is just, I set this up in just a few minutes because I was like, you know what, this has been bothering me, I need to make this video, so let's just fucking do it. So thank you again for watching. You can find me on omfgreallynikki.com, or you can find me on Instagram, omfgreallynikki. I don't know why I said it like there was more to that, but there's not. It's just omfgreallynikki. And I have some videos that I'm going to be making very soon, so hopefully you guys will subscribe and stay tuned. Have a good day.